Hey everybody, this is Tom with The Board Gamer. Today, we're going to do a quick overview and review for this game. If you want the full how-to, go ahead and click this icon up here or the link in the description. Now let's get into it. Guild Academies of Valeria is a 1 to 4 player game for ages 14 and up with an average gameplay length of 90 to 120 minutes, published by Daily Magic Games. The basic overview of Guild Academies of Valeria plays out in 4 phases. The first phase has players recruiting students from the docks, which will also let you expand your school and/or hire professors. The second phase is the education phase, where you will send students and professors that match classrooms to further educate your students. If any students graduate, you can send them on quest in the third phase, before refreshing the board in the fourth phase. Quest and prestige tiles are the main way of collecting points. But you can also gain bonuses by placing your banner on console members. And at the end of 4 rounds, the player with the most points wins. Guild Academies of Valeria was my second dive into the world of Valeria. I started with Shadow Kingdoms, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thankfully, Guild Academy plays a bit similar, but with more added detail. Instead of recruiting monsters to complete battle plans, you're recruiting students and building classrooms to train these students to complete quests in order to gain your school prestige. All these classrooms have different student and professor requirements, making the classrooms you choose more compelling. And the variety makes it so you are never stuck or unable to do anything on your turn. Let's explore the school grounds in a bit more detail and see if Guild Academy of Valeria is a school worth visiting. Now there are 3 major components that stand out the most during the gameplay, and that's the student dice, the professor tokens, and the classroom tiles. You could say 4 if you include the player board, but I like to think of that as an extension of the classrooms. To start with, the D6s for this game are very well done. It is always hard to make the most common die unique or even interesting. But for the folks over at Daily Magic Games, they continue to do a good job with the color, guild association, and legible numbers, which you never really think about until you get some dice that are really terrible and hard to read. The professor tokens don't seem amazing when first open the box, but I think with how often you use them in the game, they earn their spot to be noticed. The color and guild symbols help you differentiate them from one another, and the headmaster is always helpful when you're in a bind. And last, and certainly not least, the classroom tiles are great. Each one is very thematic, not just for the game, but with each guild and its association with it. You spend a lot of time looking at the cost, or rather the requirements they need. It is easy to overlook the art and the creativity each of these classrooms has. If you pick up this game, I recommend just going through a few of the classroom tiles and checking out the art. Plus, it will help you when playing the game, since the dice requirements could be a bit hard to read, especially from a distance. The color is always easiest to read. However, sometimes there are specific number ranges on the die requirements, and they are written in a small font inside the die on the classroom tile. This made planning a bit harder sometimes when you thought you were working towards collecting a tile that meant something different from what you actually collected. But all in all, the components in this game are well made and are quite durable. Just be careful with the occasional small text. When talking about ease of play, I wanted to share with you my experience. I opened the box, grabbed the rulebook, and began to read. And I did not understand any of it. This is not saying the rulebook is bad. It is in fact a decent rulebook, but without the context of the game, the rules made no sense. I had to set up and play a dummy round to fully understand what the rules were saying. Once I played the round and summed up a few of the rules, they seemed super simple. You recruit students from the dock and pay money to gain the benefits. Then completely forget about the dock. Send students to classrooms and make the numbers go higher until they graduate, passing the 6, and move dice to graduate. Then forget about the classrooms. Now see if you have enough dice to complete quest cards on the table and claim rewards for completing them. And then forget about the questing and get rid of everything with an X next to it. and get ready for the next round. Everything is compartmentalized, and you have very few things that carry over, making it easier to play, but complicated when you first pick up the rulebook. In fact, I almost think the game is easier to play with someone telling you how to play than by reading the rulebook yourself. Which is great if you're watching this, since I have a video that can help you out. Guild Academies of Valeria is about studying and learning, which is appropriate since there is more strategy than luck in this game. In fact, I would go so far to say that there is no luck in this game. It is all about gaining and distributing knowledge at the right time and gaining rewards that synergize with what you already have or are building to. You have to manage your gold so you can have enough when collecting from the docks to do the actions they allow, but know when to use the banking option so you're never too strapped for gold. This is just one thing to keep in mind. The game is not stuffy though. You can enjoy it without calculating every move, but I will say the more you do, the better your outcome will be. Now, when calculating, games like Guild Academies of Valeria for their replay value can be limited, especially since the guild quest and guild academies are the same every game. But thankfully, the dice values and types are randomized every game, along with the sheer number of classroom tiles. This makes what could have been a repetitive game into something that is a bit more of something new with each game. Not groundbreaking new, but new enough to want to discover. I personally have been replaying it, but for how long is still undetermined. I am still enjoying the game, so I think Guild Academy of Valeria has at least an average replay value, if not more. The theme for Guild Academies of Valeria, other than being set in Valeria, is that of a school. Throughout the game, you are expanding your academy and recruiting students to learn and send out on quests to gain prestige for your school. The classroom tiles and the professor tokens really help bring the theme to life. You have to make sure you have the right student and professors going to the right classrooms to gain the most benefits for both you, the school builder, and the student die so that you can make them graduate when you need them to. Otherwise, without a quest for them to go on upon graduating, they are thrust into the world to get chewed up and spit out. But in reality, they just get thrown back in the bag without gaining any benefit from them. I think the theme fits and plays out well with the gameplay. Using the dice as students helps you keep track of their knowledge well, and the different classrooms with different requirements and rewards help keep this theme alive and the game fresh. All in all, I think Guild Academies of Valeria is worth a visit, and even worthy of a place in your collection. This board gamer says school can sometimes be boring, but Guild Academies of Valeria is an academy worth checking out. Not boring. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified about new videos. If you're bored now, click this for more games.